I'm gonna tell you something and you have to promise you won't freak out, okay? Because I finally did it. I left him. And I know you've heard me say I'm done before. I've said it 100 times, usually through tears, usually while I'm trying to make excuses for why it was complicated or not that bad or he didn't mean it. But this time, it's real. I'm sitting here right now in my room with the softest hoodie on, the window cracked open just a tiny bit, and the air feels lighter, like my lungs actually have space again, like someone opened a door in my chest that's been stuck for months. And I called you because you're the only person who's going to understand why I'm not crying. I'm smiling. I'm relieved. I'm happy. You're quiet. I can hear you breathing on the phone, and I can already imagine the face you're making, half proud, half ready to drive over and throw hands if I say anything that sounds like I'm going back. Don't worry, I'm not. Not this time. So, okay, let me start from the beginning because the way it happened is almost stupidly simple. This morning, he did the thing he always does, the tiny little thing that's supposed to make me feel small without him having to raise his voice. That quiet, disappointed sigh, like I'm a problem he's stuck with, like I'm a chore. We were in the kitchen and I was making coffee, and he walks in, looks at me, doesn't even say good morning, and goes, "Are you really wearing that?" That was it. That was the whole sentence. And my brain did what it always does at first. That automatic scan. What am I wearing? What's wrong with it? Did I do something wrong? Is my hair bad? Am I embarrassing? And then something weird happened. I didn't scramble. I didn't apologize. I didn't laugh it off to keep the peace. I just looked at him, and I felt this calm, cold clarity slide into place like a puzzle piece clicking in, because it hit me so clearly it almost made me dizzy that I could wear literally anything: a hoodie, a dress, pajamas, a trash bag, and it wouldn't matter. Because the point was never my outfit. The point was control. And you know what I said? I said, "Yeah, I am." And he did that little smirk, the one that used to make my stomach twist because it meant he was about to start. He goes, "You always take everything so personally. I was just asking." And I swear to you, I could practically hear the old me about to step forward. The old me who would say, "No, you're right, I'm sorry," and then spend the rest of the day trying to earn basic kindness. But instead, I took a sip of my coffee and I said, "I'm not doing this today." And he laughed, actually laughed like I was a joke. Like me setting a boundary was entertainment. He goes, "Oh, so you're in one of your moods again." And you know what I realized in that moment? I wasn't in a mood. I was awake. I was finally seeing him without the fog. Because when someone loves you, they don't talk to you like that. They don't poke at you and then call you sensitive when you bleed. They don't make you feel like you're constantly auditioning for the role of good enough. So I put my mug down. I didn't slam it. I didn't make a scene. My hands were steady, which is still shocking to me, and I said really quietly, "I'm done." And he immediately switched. You know the switch. You've heard me describe it. The sudden seriousness, the posture change, the tone that says, "Oh, we're doing this now." He stepped closer and lowered his voice like he was being reasonable. He goes, "You're being dramatic. Sit down. Let's talk like adults." Like adults, as if he hasn't been treating me like a child he can punish with silence. as if he hasn't been rewriting every argument until I'm apologizing for things I didn't even do, as if he hasn't had me second guessing my own memory. So I said no, and you would have been proud of me because I didn't explain, I didn't list reasons, I didn't pull out evidence like I'm in court. I just said no. And that's when the mask slipped. He went from calm to sharp in half a second. He said, "So what? You're just gonna throw everything away after everything I've done for you?" There it is, the guilt hook. Everything he's done for me. You mean the bare minimum? The occasional nice dinner after a week of being mean? The "I love you" after I cry so hard I can't breathe? And my heart did pound then. I'm not going to pretend I was fearless. My chest was tight. My fingers went a little tingly. That old fear tried to rise up because he's trained my body to brace. But I kept my voice soft. I said, "I'm not throwing anything away. I'm choosing myself." And he stared at me like I'd spoken a different language. Then he tried the other tactic, the sweet one. He softened his face, did that fake exhale, and said, "Babe, come on. You don't mean that. You're just stressed." And I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so predictable, like watching the same scene in a movie again. He reached out like he was going to touch my arm, and I stepped back, just one step, but it felt like a mile. And I said, "Don't." And the silence after that was loud, like the whole apartment was holding its breath. And then he got angry again and said, "You're not going anywhere." Not, "Please don't go." Not, "Can we fix this?" Just ownership. "You're not going anywhere." And that's the moment, bestie. That was the moment where my relief started, even before I left, because something inside me went, "Oh, you really think you're in charge of me." And I felt this rush, like a door opening, like I said, like the world got bigger. So I walked to the bedroom and I grabbed my bag, the one I keep just in case. Don't say, "I told you so." I can literally hear you wanting to. And while I packed, he followed me around, talking nonstop, switching between insults and promises, like he was scrolling through options. "You're ungrateful. You'll regret this. No one's going to put up with you like I do." Okay, fine, I'll change. Stop acting crazy. Come here, let's just breathe. And the whole time, I kept thinking, it's like he's trying to find the right key, the right phrase that will lock me back into place. But it didn't work, because for the first time, I wasn't arguing. I wasn't defending myself. I was leaving. And the wild part is, once you stop trying to convince someone to treat you well, you realize how quiet it can be. I zipped the bag. I put on my shoes. I grabbed my keys, and he stood in the doorway like he was going to block me. He didn't, but he wanted to. I could see it in his shoulders, in the way he leaned. He said, "If you walk out that door, we're done." And my hands were shaking just a little when I reached for the handle. I'm not going to lie about that part. My body still remembers the fear, but my voice didn't shake. I said, "Good." And I walked out. Bestie, I walked out. And the second the door clicked behind me, I swear the hallway smelled different, like cleaner air, like freedom, like somebody turned the volume down on chaos. I got in my car and I just sat there for a second with my forehead against the steering wheel, not crying, just breathing, like my lungs were finally remembering what they're for. And then I laughed, a real laugh, because I realized I didn't have to go back upstairs and manage his mood anymore. I didn't have to measure my words like they were explosives. I didn't have to apologize for existing. I drove straight to that little cafe we like. The one with the warm lighting and the cinnamon smell that gets into your hair. And I sat in the corner with my drink and I just existed. And nobody punished me for it. I kept waiting for the panic to hit. Like any second now, I'm gonna fall apart, right? But instead, I felt peaceful. And then, of course, my phone started. First, the angry text, then the "Are you serious?" Then the "Answer me." Then the sudden "I love you." Then the "I'm sorry." Then the "You're ruining my life." Like a whole emotional roller coaster in the span of 10 minutes. And I watched it happen like I was outside of it for once. I didn't reply. I just watched. And I thought about all the times I did reply, all the times I tried to be mature and calm and understanding while he used every response as a way to pull me back in. So I did something that felt like jumping off a cliff. I blocked him everywhere. And I know you're probably holding your breath right now because blocking someone you loved sounds harsh, but bestie, it wasn't harsh. It was kind. It was kind to me. Because if I leave the door cracked, he'll stick his foot in it. He always has. He'll come in with flowers and apologies and a voice so soft. You'd think he's a different person. And then 2 weeks later, I'm crying in the bathroom again, wondering what I did wrong. Not anymore. I blocked him. And then I felt my shoulders drop for the first time in forever. Like my body finally believed me. And here's the part I need you to hear because I don't want you to worry that I'm lying to myself. I'm not pretending it didn't hurt. It did. It hurts to realize I stayed as long as I did. It hurts to remember how much I shrank. It hurts to think about the version of me who thought love meant anxiety. But the hurt feels clean. Not like before. Not like that messy hurt where I'm blaming myself and trying to fix him and drowning in confusion. This hurt feels like healing.